Happy Sunday. It's a bright, sunshiny day here. I hope it is where you are. Or if it's not, I hope that there's sunshine in your heart and in your mind, and that whatever the weather is like, you're feeling pretty spectacular this Sunday morning. It's not morning anymore, is it? I keep doing that. 12 o'clock makes it officially afternoon. So, good afternoon. And welcome to whatever it is we're calling this. Facebook Live seems like a kind of a not a name, doesn't it? We need to come up with a name for what this is that sounds good. So there's something we can all work on. Let's come up with a real name for this broadcast. Or is it a slim cast?
It's a face cast.
It's a face cast. Ugh, that doesn't sound good at all. Let's not call it that. So let's do that. Let's work on a name for this. We call Wednesday Matters, and I've just been calling this, Sunday Facebook Live. Let's come up with a real name for it. I think that would be fun. I don't know if we want to make it a contest or not because I don't know if I have any prizes. But as long as we're all here and where two or more are gathered, some good ideas seem to come up. So let's think up a name for this. Good Sunday, Dana. Happy that you're here. Happy that I'm here. Happy that we're all here. It's a great day. It's really a great day. Sundays with Marlene. Then kind of like Tuesdays with Morty? Maury?
Maury.
Maury. I was one letter off, giving him
Murray
too many.
saved Christmas, and Maury does Tuesdays.
Yeah, but we can't talk about Murray saving Christmas until Christmas time. I don't think. That might be interesting, reading a Christmas story in the middle of August or whatever month this is. Is anybody else losing track of what month it is? It's just, I literally wrote in my journal the other day, what happened to July? It was June, and then it was August, and July just sort of disappeared. I'm sure it was there, and I'm sure I was in it, but I kind of feel like it just disappeared. Not having a regular schedule like having a job does for you, or regular things. I mean, even your favorite TV shows aren't necessarily where they used to be anymore. Things are moving around. Jeopardy is rerunning 40-year-old reruns. It's just an interesting time, isn't it? Isn't it? Good morning, Heidi. Glad that you're here. Happy that anyone's here. I am. I'm really happy that you are giving up a part of your Sunday to be here. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I did the first wedding I've done in a very long time yesterday. That was an interesting experience. And you leave thinking you leave the house thinking I don't know these people real well, and I don't know what I'm walking into exactly. But I had already said to the bride I will be wearing a mask and gloves, and I'd appreciate social distancing. And she said, "Oh, that's not a problem." But I've heard people say it's not a problem, and then you get there and they're not doing that. These people were fabulous. They were absolutely fantastic. As they came through the gate, people were coming through the side gate into this fabulous backyard. As they came through the gate, every single person already had a mask on. Some were color coordinated with their outfits. Others were message masks. One younger girl was wearing a black mask with white lettering that said, "I'm just trying to stay alive." And I thought, that's fabulous. I love your mask. It's wonderful. It's a great message. It's a great message. And a lot of them were flowered, and it was just interesting. For those of you who are dying to know, I was wearing a gray and pink duster kind of thing, and a gray covering on my mask so that I looked color coordinated, of course. Of course, I would do that. Brenda, good morning. Jennifer, happy Sunday. Yes. Hail, hail. The gang is all arriving. Yay. I love that. I was talking about the wedding that I did yesterday and how good everybody was. I mean, they put their masks aside to munch because they served hors d'oeuvres before the wedding. It was small group. I mean, maybe a dozen people all together. Um, but they had some hors d'oeuvres while people were waiting for things to start, and it started right on time. It was probably the most together wedding I've ever done, just in terms of thoughtfulness. And they had individual little gifty things with hand sanitizer and stuff in them for the guests, and then a big bottle of hand sanitizer right at the entrance in case anybody just felt the need to do that. Um, it was lovely. Beautiful people, lovely wedding, um, thoughtful, just thoughtful. I appreciated it a whole lot. So I have another wedding coming up at the end of the month, and um, I'm going to just know that they are as thoughtful and considerate as the people were yesterday. It was just a pleasure to be there. Good morning, Kirk. Glad that you're here. Oh, hip surgery tomorrow, Brenda. All right. We will be praying. What time? Let me know so I can really be with you at the time and be focused on you at the time you go into surgery. And I know they never start those things on time, but I will try to start the prayers on time. And we will all be there with you. Let me ask, Dana, how's John doing? Is he well and taking care of himself? I'd like to know that. I have to keep up on everybody. I hate not knowing. So thank you for keeping me posted and in the loop, as they say, so that I know what's going on in your lives and I know what to pray for. Kirk and Jennifer, can we assume that all is going well with your family and that everyone is healing nicely? Just health updates, please, in the chat boxes so that I know what's going on, and if there are any other things that need prayer, um, put them in there. Cat captures them all during the hour and then hands them to me afterwards. So if I don't comment when you originally post, know that that's because my little thing over here on the side that should show me the chat doesn't keep up with things the way it should. But that's all right. Not the end of the world. And I will absolutely get the message because my marvelous techie partner over here just takes care of the fact that it's coming in, and she will probably respond to you right away. You might not hear from you right away, but know that I get the message and that I will pray. I will absolutely pray for your well-being and the well-being of those that you love and care for. And I seem to be losing my voice.
Have some water. Do you
Have some.
you want your tea?
I might want my tea. Hold on. Let me try just the water. Let's see what this will do. And no, I do not coordinate my water bottles with my outfit. This just happens to. It looks real pink on the screen to me, but it's really quite red. Yeah, I might need my tea. So I don't sound quite so gravelly.
Sounds like you're broadcasting from Las Vegas.
Yeah, I've been up all night and around too much smoke.
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't been around any smoke at all, and I wasn't up all night. I went to bed early last night. I was a good girl. Yes, look at that. Hi, Denise. Glad you're here. Hi, Matthew. Glad that you're here. Happy Sunday. Oh, Heidi, that's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. This is kind of my gift to me, too. I just love doing this. I love being with all of you. I love to talk. You know, I love to talk. I mean, you've all known me for quite a while, so that's no surprise to anybody. And if I get to talk about God, it's just even better, isn't it? I'm not good normally at small talk, but, in the right company, all kinds of good things happen. And back to that wedding yesterday, because one of the beauties, one of the gifts I really took home from it was when I first walked in, there was a big gazebo with a big table in the middle, and there was a couple there. Um, can I say an older couple? As opposed to being 20. Okay, and turned out it was the groom's father and mother. And when they saw me coming through the gate, mask went on right away, stayed on the whole time. I introduced myself. The bride and groom weren't there yet. In fact, nobody else was there yet but me and the parents. It was their home. And so I sat down to chat a little. And mother of the groom went inside to do mother of the groom things, getting the house ready for the guests and whatnot. And dad and I talked for a long time. And whereas I know I just said I'm not good at small talk, you know how some people just bring out the best in you? And we talked and talked and talked. And I got to know, at least at one level, this fascinating, amazing man who I just loved. By the end of the day, I was in love. He was just amazing, amazing. And it was all family and very, very, very close friends, but mostly family, his and hers. The star of the show, as far as I'm concerned, was the father of the groom. He was fabulous, and it was a delight to sit and talk with him and make small talk. If you can talk, to say that small talk was ending up finding out how he met his wife and how they felt about each other and the fact that they had been married for over 60 years. Um, Terrific. Just such a great experience yesterday. It's I haven't been out in a long time, I grant you, but this was well worth going out for, and it was delightful. And I wish all of you could have been there. Okay, let's see. John is going to have a stress die test in the next few weeks. Yeah. Hi, Denise. I'm glad you're here too. Yeah, we're gonna know, Mama, that John's gonna be fine. He's doing the right things. If he knows that the problems are coming from stress and stress is coming from the job, and he's looking for something else, um, he's doing all the right things. And that and prayer, and we got him. I may break the microphone, but we got him. Hi, Donna. Donna says, take me to church. Well, I can do that. I can do that. This is the most fun church I've ever had. I've got to tell you that. It's wonderful. I look forward to it every week. This Sunday and Wednesday are just my favorite times. And being with all of you is my favorite thing to do. So, yay us. Yay us. What a great spiritual family we are. And I'm glad we're, and look, we don't even have to wear masks. It occurred to me as I was driving home and taking my mask off because I was in the car all by myself that the people at that wedding have no idea what I really look like because I was like this the entire time. Well, sometimes like this because here's something I discovered. With a mask on like this, I couldn't see my book. and read all the words. So it started to slip down a little, and that was better, and I just left it there. Oh, thank you, thank you. Hold on. That's going to help. I know it is. It feels like it already is. Tea and lime juice from our very own lime tree, and a little honey.
And a shot of scotch.
Oh, you didn't use my good scotch in this, did you?
No.
Keep an eye on me. If it's just a scotch, I can handle it. Just a shot, rather. I'm already having trouble talking. So, what did you put in my tea?
You'll never know.
Oh, all right. Unclogged and free flowing. I like that. That's my kind of prayer. Let's just get it moving. All right. So Donna says, take me to church. Why don't we do that? Because I want to talk to you today about a very fun thing, I think. I'm going to talk to you about God and stuff. I was in that kind of a mood when it was time to write notes. And so that's where I went, and it's what you're going to get today. So I don't usually mention the title of a talk, possibly because I don't always have one. Sometimes I just have a talk and I haven't thought about a title. And Kat will say, I want to make a meme for you to put up. What's your title? And I think, oh, I don't know. So I have to go back to my notes and find something in there that suggests a title. Anyway, don't always mention the title, hardly ever, once I really get going. But I want to make an exception today, because I want you to have it parked in the back of your mind. And the title of today's talk is God and Other Stuff. Now, to satisfy those of you who have studied all of this stuff, let me get right to the main point. And then I'll spend a few minutes explaining. You know I will. Probably more than just a few minutes. Anyway, simply, there isn't any other stuff. Oh, say it with me. All that there is God. Good. Okay, period. End of story. In the beginning, God, and nothing else. And God, or whatever you want to call it, got an idea, actually several ideas. And the Almighty made the ideas real. Or, more accurately, made what we call reality out of the ideas. Now, recap, there wasn't anything else except whatever it was, God, in the beginning. And it didn't even have a name because there was nobody there to talk to but itself, so he didn't need a name to introduce itself, right? So, if there wasn't anything else except whatever it was in the beginning, what did the unlimited make things out of? It's a simple question, isn't it? In the beginning, there was only God. So the only thing to make stuff out of was God. Good. All the stuff made by Spirit was out of Spirit, because there wasn't anything else to make anything out of. The simplest answer is very often the right answer. So, according to Thaddeus Golas in The Lazy Man's Guide to Enlightenment, most of you know that's one of my all-time favorites, the universe is made of one kind of whatever it is, which cannot be defined. Now, for our purposes, it is not necessary to try to define it. All we need to do is assume that there is only one kind of whatever it is, and see if that leads to a reasonable explanation for the world as we know it. You with me? Okay. This one, whatever it is, expands and contracts. Expansion is permeative. Contraction is dense and impermeative. Being expanded is very good. Being dense is not so much good. But there's no use in worrying about it. It just is the way it is, whatever it is. Thaddeus Golas. Love the man. I've been quoting Golas for over 20 years, probably longer, and loved it every time. But I finally found a new book, new to me, to quote. It's called God's Debris, and it's written by no less a theologian than Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert and Dogbert. But make no mistake, this is no Dilbert book. The author calls it a 132-page thought experiment wrapped in a story. And it's a very entertaining story. He does not recommend reading it to people under 14 or over 55 mentally. Although he admits that if you're 90 going on 35, you might just like it. You will, I think. All of you will, I think. Because it will make you think. Which is what it is intended, solely intended to do. The protagonist, the voice of the story, is a young delivery man who is about to deliver the most important package of his career. He meets the old man, who proceeds to fill him in on the facts of the universe, God and all. And he starts with the premise that no matter what the question, the simplest answer is nearly always right. I'll cut right to the first punchline of the story. There are several. God was seeking an answer to the only unanswerable, well, you know what I mean, question for God, which was, being omnipotent, would I cease to exist if I destroyed myself? The question presents a complicated conundrum, don't you think? But he has said that the simplest answer is usually right. So, anyway, in order to find out, God blew itself up. Don't ask me how. I don't know how, and the book doesn't say. I'm telling you what's in the book. God blew itself up, and life, you, me, the dirt, and the rocks, and the plants, and the animals, are all God's debris. We are what happened to those little bits of God, which would have made Julian of Norwich very happy, because she wrote that the fullness of joy is to behold God in everything. So if you're coming from the premise that God blew itself up and that the fallout was everything that we can behold, then we would naturally behold God in everything and be fully in joy. I like the idea, don't you? Anyway, so like Thaddeus Golas, Adams has his old man say, everything is made of some other thing. Over the next 100 years, scientists will discover layer after layer after layer of building blocks, each smaller than the last. And at the lowest layer, everything is the same. Matter is uniform. And that smallest bit of matter, those are the bits of God. Science has told us, in fact, that, at one time, not too terribly long ago, they thought that the smallest thing that there was an atom. Now they know that's not true. There are smaller things yet, and smaller things yet. And they got it down to a quark. But even scientists have said that they think that if they could get matter down to its smallest element, what they would find there is intelligence. God. if you will. Oh, not the old guy of the old stories, not the guy on the throne with the angels and the harps but that which created everything in the beginning. Jonathan Swift once wrote, "Vision is the art of seeing things invisible." Can you kind of see that in your mind's eye? That the very smallest bit of stuff, that if you were to take a skin cell and put it under a microscope, and then keep getting it stronger and stronger until you could see the smallest bit of energy, that you would see the invisible, see the intelligence within it that knows how to be a skin cell or a hair cell or a rock or a bird or you. Anyway, the old man then goes on to talk about probability as the powerful force that moves the debris about, not disallowing for free will. He suggests that there is something other than our brain that may use our brain or direct our choices to more effectively support the reassembly of God. The reassembly of God, the coming together of all of those bits and pieces as God reassembles the oneness of the one. Simply, of course, all is one. And it is in the process, the story says, of reuniting with itself. Strange concepts, says the author. Strange ideas about God. Not even his ideas, he says. Don't write me about how wrong I am, he says. This is fiction. Or is it? Or is it? Although he seems to know everything, the old man says that awareness is about unlearning. It is, says he, the recognition that you don't know as much as you thought you knew. And then he describes the 5 levels of awareness. The first level we all experience at birth. It's when you first become aware that you exist. Watch a baby. There's a thumb, and they follow it. And they went, oh, it's me. And I'm hungry. I think I'll cry. In the second level, you become aware that other people exist. And at that level, you believe most of what you were told by authority figures, your mom and your dad, whatever. And you accept the belief system in which you are raised. Most of us did that as little people. At the third level, you start to realize that humans are often wrong about what they believe. And you start to realize that you may be wrong. But you're not sure about that in spite of doubts, and you find comfort in your beliefs. Been there. We've all been there. The fourth level is skepticism. Science starts looking like the best measure of what is true. And you start thinking that you have a good working grasp of truth, thanks to science. Your logical mind and your senses. You factor in the statistics. You look for the odds. Doctors and lawyers and experts in every field fuel your arguments. But be aware, there is another level. The fifth level, at which we understand that the mind can be an illusion generator. That all of your reasonable statistics and facts can simply be one side of a probability factor, like tossing a coin. If the universe is nothing but dust and probability, asks our hero, how does anything happen? The answer is simple, sort of. But then the whole book is based on the idea that the simplest explanation is usually right. Cicero says the beginnings of all things are small. We all start somewhere with a cork, with an idea. How small is that? How small is an idea? It has no weight, no mass, no substance. It just is. But it can be huge, can't it? Please hear me say this. There is no good or bad here, no judgment about one level being better than another level. Just differences in usefulness. Each level has its own happiness built in. Each level has its own artistry. The fourth level serves. The third level questions. The second level believes. And the first level notices and learns. It's all good. Martin Buber once wrote, any natural art, if hallowed, leads to God. So each level, if hallowed, if respected, if held sacred for the time, leads to God. Most of us are probably somewhere between the second and third levels, says the author, along with the everyman in this story who is his hero. And it's all good. Can you see that? It has to be, because it's all God. There is only one kind of whatever it is, expressing as creation, as intelligence, as life. So, if you're here, you are it. Check it out. Hold your arms out in front of you. Can you see your hands? Can you? Good. Are they attached to your shoulders? Yes? Are your shoulders attached to the rest of your body? Good. You're here. So you're it. Just checking. It's okay to have our doubts. That's the nature of growth. To question, to consider, to think. It is not only okay, it's mandatory. But I think I'd know, says the hero, if we were part of an omnipotent being. Would you? Asks the old man. Your skin cells are not aware that they are part of a human being. Skin cells are not equipped for that kind of knowledge. They are equipped to do what they do, and nothing more. Likewise, if we humans and all the plants and animals and dirt and rocks were components of God, would we have the capacity to know it? So you are saying, says our hero, God blew himself to bits. That must have been the Big Bang. And now he's piecing himself back together. So he goes on to ask, does God have consciousness yet? Does he know that he's reassembling? He does, replied the old man. Otherwise, you could not have asked the question. Blaise Pascal once wrote, you would not seek God if you had not already found God. It's all about levels of awareness. It's all about the willingness of consciousness to open up and accept more and and to see more. So, regardless of whether or not Mr. Adams' book or theories appeal to you, I invite you to try this thought experiment. Every day for the next week, pretend, just pretend, that the simplest answer is right. That it really is all God. That it really is all good. Everyone. Everything. And notice, as you practice this thought experiment, notice if you feel happier, healthier, more peaceful, more at home in the universe of which you are an intimate part. Michelangelo wrote, "Every beauty which is seen here by persons of perception resembles more than anything else that celestial source from which we all are come." And look where that thinking got him. So for 1 week, just 1 week, just pretend. And notice if it doesn't feel a whole lot better. If you don't feel a whole lot healthier and happier and holier, even just pretending. Just pretending that the simplest answer may be right. And that you are part of the one kind of whatever it is. And what if it isn't fiction? What if it was all true? What if you are part of the one? And the one is all part of you. Every part. Those hands you were looking at. And the arms and the shoulders. And everything that they are attached to. What if? What if it isn't fiction? What if it's all true? And you are, in fact, in more ways than you ever realized, made of God stuff and nothing else. Because there is nothing else but that. In you and as you. What if? Okay, so end of my monologue about God and stuff. I love Thaddeus Colas. I've never been a big Delbert Dogbert fan, but I can certainly learn. And I love the idea that God just wanted an answer to the one unanswerable question, and we became the answer. Don't you just love it? Don't you just, what a fun concept. So I want you to go about this week, pretending if you must, that that's the way it is, because that's the simplest answer. There was no store for God to go to buy people and planets and stars and things of that sort. Just had to make it all up out of itself because that's all there was. So here you are. A little bit of God debris catching up over here. Yeah, God stuff's a, a good phrase, isn't it? We're all God stuff. What? I just think it's a fun idea. Why not? Why not? What else would we be? What else would we be? Where else would we have come from? And, even if you go with the idea that there was a primal swamp and that things crawled up out of the swamp and that they eventually became gorillas and some gorillas eventually became man. So what if the process was we were once babies who could do nothing? And baby, look at you now. It's all about evolution. It's all about God becoming. You are about God becoming. Wow. It's exciting stuff, don't you think? I think it is. And I like the idea that the simplest answer is most nearly often the truth. You guys are brilliant. I love what you write. You really are brilliant. Some amazing things get written down over here for me. And I just look at it and go, I should be listening, not talking. You guys are wonderful. You're wonderful. Hi, Ginger. So, what are you going to do this week? How are you going to go about your life? Pretending, or not, that you're God stuff. How will you do things differently? How will you handle that person who's annoying? How will you create something new? That's what God does. How will you evolve? That's what God does, after all. Creates and evolves. And creates and evolves. How will you do that? How will you best exemplify the God that is you? Denise, thank you. Ginger says, can I still curse if I'm God stuff? Well, honey, if you're cursing, you are God stuff cursing. Sometimes you just need to do that to let it out. My theory would be that when God decided to answer the question for itself and blew itself up, there was probably a last minute, oh, hell, what have I just done? Don't you think? Don't you think? I think so. So, yeah, sure. Sure. Why not? You are then God doing that. And sometimes that's how we can let off some steam. So, if that works for you, babe, do it. Go for it. I don't think God judges that. I hope God doesn't judge that, or I'm in trouble too. So Ginger will end up in the same place, wherever that may be. Don't you think? And I don't think there's a hell. I just cannot imagine that a God who put such a fabulous universe together and supplied us with all of this great stuff so that we could live and create and evolve. I just can't imagine that God would then do that Old Testament stuff. I just don't think it's true. I don't believe in it. I don't know exactly what's next, but I know that there's got to be a next because life just kind of demands that. Flowers blossom and grow and then fade and drop seeds and become more. Life goes on. Everything seems to point to the fact that life goes on, so why wouldn't it? I think when our bodies wear out, and they do, I just read a whole article yesterday about things to expect when you are older. They say, according to whether or not you exercise and diet properly and blah, 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 blah. It may come sooner, it may come later, but it's gonna come. And I thought, why does it have to? Does it? And maybe it does. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that. But I know that if it does, it's a natural part of life. And we can be frustrated by it. We can be angry about it. We can yell and scream and carry on about it. And that's not going to make a big difference. Better, we should not be frustrated. We should not be angry. We should not be yelling and screaming. We should be accepting to a certain point and then doing what we know to do best to keep ourselves healthier longer. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. I just did. Some of you came in a little late, so you missed my conversation about the wedding that I did yesterday. But I just did my first wedding where everybody was in a mask. Everybody. Some of them ate a little while they were there, and so they removed their mask. So the few people, I know what they looked like, but I never did eat. And so nobody there actually knows what I look like, which I just find kind of fun. It's like, the masked woman came in and said these words and married us and then left. What did she look like? Well, we're not real sure. She had a mask on. She's got fairly long dark hair and green eyes. And we don't know much more than that. She seemed nice. I hope they would say that. They sure seemed nice. But imagine being in a room with a dozen people, or actually in a garden with a dozen people, and having no idea for sure what any of them looked like unless they ate. It was kind of fun. It was a new experience. You guys are fun. Yeah, if it's all God, it's all God. The masked minister, yes. She came, she married, she left. Hi-O Silver. I will take care of the throat. Thank you, Tina. I will. In fact, that's what this is. Just comes on me every once in a while. It doesn't feel bad. Not scratchy or anything. It just morning voice. I don't usually talk a lot in the morning. Sunday's my day to talk. First thing. Usually I'm kind of quiet. Except, telling the cats no and the dogs yes. And other than that, it's a very limited conversation around here in the morning. So, I love all of you. I really do. And I love that you're here. And for those of you out there who are listening and not chiming in, I love you too. It's amazing. I think that there's kind of just this group of us that gets together. And then I find out later in the week. So-and-so will say, well, I was there when you said, and what about such and such? And I think, So, if you're here, let us know. Jump in, be part of the conversation. And I think it is probably getting time to pray. Sundays with the masked minister. Oh, don't make me wear a mask. No, no, no. It'll be just our little joke. Oh, thank you. I love all of you. So I suggested at the beginning of the hour that we come up with a name for this experience that we're having on Sunday morning. Um, Kak says maybe that's the Sundays with the masked minister.
So I didn't win?
No, you didn't win. But there are no prizes, so don't feel bad. Um, we call Wednesday Wednesday Matters, and I like that. So let's think of a name for Sunday. Send me ideas. Send me ideas. You can just put them up on my Facebook page, and we'll look at them. Um, Stan's here. Hi, Stan. Yay! Scout says woof. Woof back from Tallulah and Truffle. Yay! Glad you're here, Stan. Stan's having an adventure right now. It's a good thing. Okay, guys. I'm out of small talk. It won't last, but for the moment, I'm out of small talk. So let's take a moment, shall we, and pray? Let's just be together in the one. And in moments like that, I really do feel like God is reassembling. Oh, Kak says send in your suggestions for the title and there will be a prize. She'll probably ship me out to you. Here, take her. Okay, stick ideas in there, keep them coming. And in the meantime, let's just take a deep breath and inhale, God. Oh, yeah. And close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, or just soft focus so that your attention is within and not without. And know with me that all that there is God, is good. All that there is the infinite expressing itself, and it does so abundantly. And every word from our mouth, every word, Ginger, every word is spirit expressing. Every word. And it's all good because it's all God. And we are that zillions of cells gathered together to be uniquely who we are. Zillions of cells, each containing at its most minute level intelligence, creation, recreation, evolution. We are that. We are that. The ideas of God evolving, becoming, creating. And I know for each of us, this week is going to be amazing because we will have opportunity after opportunity to imagine that we are God in expression and do God-like things. Whoa. Knowing that we make the wisest of decisions, because the mind that we use is in some part the mind of God. Knowing that we are kind in a whole new way because the heart that guides us is the heart of God. Knowing that we create in new and fabulous ways because the creative spirit within us is the creative spirit of spirit itself. What a week this is going to be. As we continue to remember that the simplest answer is most nearly always right. That saying yes to spirit is saying yes to life itself. That allowing our ideas to become our reality is to replicate the process of creation itself. We are God stuff. And there is nothing else. And it is all good. And so we allow ourselves this week to express God in the most unique and wonderful and outlandish and creative ways. We allow ourselves to truly be what we are. And life and we and everything is better for it. Celebrating the presence of God in life, in us, as us, and through us. We look forward to this week and the miraculous things that will occur. And we let that be so gratefully. We let that be so. And so it is. Woo! Woo! I expect you to have nothing short of a miraculous week. And I expect the same for myself. And knowing that's true, I know that amazing things are going to happen in the world this week. Amazing things. Brenda's going to have a fabulous surgery and heal so quickly that the doctors are astounded. Yay! And I know that John is healthy and whole and making wise and wonderful decisions. I know that. And we will continue to pray for both of them and any other little things that you let me know about as the week moves on. Feel free to post something on this page and let me know if you need prayer. And I'm happy to do that. Have a fabulous week. I know you will. And I know that the world is going to be a better place because of you and your fabulous week. Because it's all God. So it's all good. I thank you for being here. I thank you for reposting this so that other people can hear it. I thank you for your donations. You have been amazingly generous, and I am grateful for that. And I thank you for making the world a better place. knowing that it's all good. And so it is. So it is. Be good to yourself this week.